Breath of the Wild is perhaps the most important game to come out of Nintendo in the last 10 years. It kicked off Nintendo's most successful kinda home console. It took a beloved franchise in a direction it had never gone before. And it absolutely played a part in the 50 open world games a year we have now. Thank you, Zelda. Very cool. With that said, I gotta be honest. I think the build up to it was better than the game itself. Now wait, before you kill me, this has less to do with the game itself and more to do with the fact that it had the best build up of all goddamn time. In the first trailer, we have this beautiful shot of the brand new open world before Link starts hauling ass from a big fucking robot shooting goddamn lasers at him before Link blows it up with futuristic arrows. That was the first trailer. The intensity, the excitement, the anger people felt thinking they made Link a girl while I was thinking, I don't give a fuck if she is or not. This is the best Link has ever looked. And speaking of never looking better, this was the best marketing I have ever seen for a game. Every single trailer looked amazing. The cell shading of it made it look so different from other Zelda games, really hyping up its open world, all leading up to seeing its release date at the end of a presentation showing off the future of gaming.
Open your eyes.
This is why people accept Nintendo can sell you into slavery. How do you even begin to live up to that? Yeah, that's probably a good start. Pick a direction. There's literally over 1,000 different things to collect, or missions to do, or people to talk to, or rocks to pick up and move somewhere else. The amount of secrets and shit to do in this game is so huge that there are still things people who have played this game every day for 6 years don't know about. I just spent 15 minutes looking for a fireproof lizard to cook and turn into a potion. Turns out, I could have just hit 15 squishy balls and accomplished the same thing. This is why people will be complaining about Breath of the Wild not being ported to the Super Switch U. If you have the creativity, you will never run out of things to do. Unfortunately, none of those are the things I really liked about Zelda. Now don't get me wrong here, this isn't me being unable to change with the times. More often than not, I'm sitting here complaining about how old stuff kinda sucks and how newer stuff is better. The best selling game in a 37-year-old franchise isn't where I draw the line on that. The Zelda formula needed to shake things up, and some of the stuff is just awesome. Have you seen the shit you can do in this game? Can't do that shit in Ocarina of Time. I'm not even that sad about the dungeons. I mean, yeah, it kinda sucks to have all your dungeons be basically identical, but for some reason, I don't think I'm too short on the puzzle aspect. I think I'm doing pretty good with that. Except for these things. Whoever made these levels either hates their fan base to their soul, or are really into CBT. There is no middle ground. But beyond that, spoilers by the way, bosses were my favorite things in Zelda games, and we got 4 thematically identical incarnations of evil that somehow are all less interesting than some big dude playing drums. The only cool one was Thunderblight because you had to go all Ultra Instinct on his ass. Oh, but this game also has mini bosses, so that should fix everything, right? That was 3 button presses. Oh, there's also the music. Did someone forget to put it in? For a while, I thought the only music in this game was during fights or special areas. But I looked it up. There are over 100 tracks of music here, so where is it? Oh, wait. Do you hear it? It's quieter than the footsteps. Why? Is there a way to change it into settings? Nope, alright, this is a play while you watch YouTube sort of game then. Cool. I've heard some people say that this is to not get in the way of the natural feel of the world. And to be fair, mission accomplished. No music in nature, no music in a game that's main gimmick is to be nature. Or if you do get music, usually it's a very rich, soothing melody. Very relaxing, the kind of music I can sleep to. Which I did. Multiple times.
Not quite my tempo.
Listen, I don't need every song to be... But coming fresh off of the sicko mode jams that was Ocarina of Time, a soundtrack that managed to be exciting, sad, happy, angry, soothing, this just ain't cutting it. But the most baffling thing this game does is with the story. The trailers talk about this grand war that happened 100 years ago. They bring in champions from the major Zelda races. They bring in actual voice actors for the first time ever, and what happens? Well, they basically made Ganon a scary cloud that kills everyone. True story, my friend made this thumbnail 10 minutes after he found out they hired voice actors for the champions to come in, die immediately, and say their own version of, okay, go get him, champ. It's weird because they have such a good setup for a story, but all the cutscenes give you is, Zelda doesn't have powers, and these four are so cool you'll wish you had a game with them instead. That doesn't stomp on the whole point of the first game. Oh, but there's DLC that actually gives you more of them, which... kinda dumb they didn't have this in the main game. What, did they run out of time giving us color variants of the same 6 enemies? And some people are out there saying I'm comparing two entirely different types of games, that I'm being unfair and calling this game bad just because it doesn't line up with my ideal Zelda game, but here's the thing. Point to me the exact moment I said this game was bad. Do I have complaints about it? Yeah, sure. It's a review. That's kind of the point. But you'll find that, shockingly, I never called this game bad, because I think this is one of the better Zelda games. So the next logical question to that statement is, if I think that, why am I being such an asshole to this game? And the answer to that is, I don't think I am. It just so happens that most of the positives about this game boil down to, this open world is neat. And I said the world is neat. I said that this was a game where if you're creative enough, you will never run out of things to do. And I stand by it. But sometimes I'm not creative enough to become John Wick and take 200 tries to systematically destroy every atom of some poor generic enemy. My favorite parts of the game were when the game gave you a task outside the norm and you had to figure out how to do it. And the sad reality is, those take up about 10% of the game. Is it so wrong to think this gigantic open world should have more unique challenge areas to explore rather than 900 pieces of literal golden turds, 450 of which do somewhere between jack shit and fuck all for you? Is it really an unfair complaint to say that maybe the game should have given the champions shown off in half the trailers more than 2 scenes each so you wouldn't have to buy a DLC just to know that ain't Falco? Imagine an ice cave with unique music where they take all your gear so you have to find and light a torch quick before you run out of health. Go deep enough inside the cave? Bam! Unique ice boss. And you know what? Let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone. If you beat the boss, you get non-slip gloves because... ice. That way I don't have to spend 5 goddamn minutes waiting for rain to go away so I can climb a wall. Isn't that worth losing a few of the 29 blessing shrines, or the 20 test of strength shrines, or some of the lame, hey give me this stuff side quest that the game gives you just so you can run around the open world doing the same thing you've been doing for the last 200 hours? But you know what the funny thing is? Even with all that, this still manages to be a game I keep coming back to. I was playing it an hour before this review dropped. I'm gonna be playing it until I can play Tears of the Kingdom. I'm gonna be playing it after I play Tears of the Kingdom. And I think the reason for that is, this world does keep me busy. There's so much stuff that it takes me a while to get bored of it. And while none of it is as good as the stuff I wanted, it's enough to keep me coming back to it. Mostly because it's really funny. The point is, Breath of the Wild is a great game. An amazing game, maybe even a masterpiece. I just don't think it reached the massive expectations I've been hearing over the past 6 years. A fantastic open world, but maybe not the best Zelda game, you know? Which brings me to my last point. Everything is pointing to this being the greatest Star Wars game ever made. Please Respawn, don't fumble this. Please don't fumble this. Or at least don't fumble Pikmin.